Before this story begins, let me ask you something from the heart. If you believe that happiness has no age limit, please take a moment to like this story. And if you enjoy meaningful life stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach more people who need them. My name is Albert. I am 106 years old today. Yes, 106. Even when I say it out loud, it sounds unreal. I have lived long enough to see the world change in ways I never imagined. I was born when letters were written by hand and news traveled slowly. Now I live in a world where everything moves fast, where people are connected to screens but often disconnected from themselves. People often ask me, Albert, what keeps you happy at this age? They expect me to talk about food, exercise, or some secret medicine. But the truth is much simpler and much harder. The secret is not about adding more to life. It's about learning what to let go. For most of my life, I carried invisible weight. Expectations, regrets, comparisons, worries about what people thought of me, worries about whether I was successful enough, loved enough, respected enough. I didn't realize it then, but I was exhausting myself with thoughts that never really mattered. When you are young, you think happiness is something you earn. You think you must prove yourself first, and only then you deserve peace. So you keep running. You keep pushing. You keep telling yourself, later I'll rest. Later I'll be happy. But later keeps moving. I lost many years to that illusion. I worked hard, yes. I built a career. I raised children. I paid bills. I fulfilled responsibilities. From the outside, my life looked full, but inside I was always tense, always worried about the next problem, the next deadline, the next mistake. Then slowly, life started taking things away from me. First my job, then my strength, then my friends, then my wife. At first I felt empty, like everything meaningful was leaving me one by one. I thought happiness had an expiration date, and mine had passed. But something unexpected happened when I turned 100. With almost nothing left to prove, I finally felt free. I no longer cared about impressing anyone. I no longer cared about being right all the time. I no longer cared about comparing my life to others. There was no race left to run. And in that quiet space, I found something I had been chasing my whole life. Peace. I realized that happiness isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's not a big achievement or a perfect moment. It's a soft feeling that appears when you stop fighting reality. These days, my happiness comes from very small things: sitting in sunlight, hearing a familiar voice, feeling warm tea in my hands, watching people pass by without needing to be one of them. I don't need life to be exciting anymore. I need it to be honest. I accept my limitations. Some days I forget names. Some days my body feels heavy. Some days I feel tired for no reason. But I don't see these as problems. I see them as reminders that I'm human. I used to fear aging. Now I respect it. Because aging teaches you the most important lesson of all. Everything changes, and that's okay. You lose things, but you also lose illusions. You lose energy, but you gain clarity. You lose time, but you gain perspective. At 106, I understand that happiness is not about controlling life. It's about cooperating with it. I no longer ask, why is this happening to me? I ask, what is this trying to teach me? And life becomes much kinder when you stop arguing with it. One day a young man asked me, Albert, what do you regret most? I thought for a long time before answering. I said, I regret worrying so much about things that never mattered. Most of the fears I had never came true. Most of the mistakes I made were forgiven. Most of the people I tried to impress are gone. But the moments I truly lived, those stayed with me. So if I can give you one secret from 106 years of living, it's this: let go of the unnecessary weight. Let go of perfection. Let go of constant self-judgment. Let go of the idea that life must look a certain way to be meaningful. Happiness doesn't come from fixing everything. It comes from accepting enough. I am 106 years old. My life is simple, my days are quiet, my world is small. But my heart is lighter than it has ever been. And that's why I'm still happy. There is another thing I learned very late in life. Something nobody teaches you when you are young, because it sounds too simple to be important. You don't need a perfect life to feel grateful. You just need an honest one. For many years, I was waiting for conditions to improve before allowing myself to be happy. I told myself, when work gets easier, when the kids grow up, when I have more time. But life never becomes perfect. It only changes shape. Now at 106, I understand that waiting for the right moment is the fastest way to miss every moment. These days, I wake up slowly. My body needs time to remember how to move. I sit on the edge of the bed, breathe deeply, and thank myself for waking up again. That alone feels like a gift. Some mornings are quiet. Too quiet. There are no urgent calls, no schedules, no responsibilities. For a long time, that silence scared me. It felt like being forgotten. Now I see it differently. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is space. Space to think. Space to feel. Space to remember without rushing. I often talk to my past in my mind. I talk to the young man who thought life was a competition. I tell him that nobody wins in the end, but everyone gets a chance to understand. I tell him that love matters more than success, that listening matters more than speaking, that being kind to yourself is just as important as being kind to others. If I could relive my life, I wouldn't change big events. I wouldn't change where I was born, who I married, or what career I chose. I would only change how present I was while it was happening. Because the real tragedy is not making mistakes. The real tragedy is being absent from your own story. Even now, I still practice this. When memories come, I don't drown in them. When fears come, I don't run from them. I sit with everything like an old friend. There is a strange comfort in no longer needing to be young, no longer needing to be strong, no longer needing to be impressive. I am allowed to be slow. I am allowed to be quiet. I am allowed to exist without proving anything. That freedom is priceless. People think happiness comes from adding things to your life. More experiences, more achievements, more relationships. But real happiness often comes from subtraction. Subtract expectations. Subtract unnecessary guilt. Subtract comparisons. What remains is you. Just you. And that is enough. Sometimes I sit and watch children playing in the park across the street. They laugh without reason. They run without purpose. They cry without shame. They are completely alive. Adults forget how to live like that. We replace wonder with worry. We replace curiosity with control. We replace presence with planning. At 106, I feel closer to those children than I do to most adults. Not because I am young again, but because I finally remember how to be real. I don't pretend I'll live much longer. That thought doesn't scare me. It comforts me. It reminds me that every conversation matters. Every smile counts. Every day deserves attention. When death feels near, life becomes honest. No masks, no roles, no illusions, just gratitude for being here at all. And maybe that is the deepest secret of happiness. Not escaping reality, not improving reality, but fully accepting it. I am 106 and still happy, not because my life was perfect, but because I finally stopped asking it to be.